Hello everyone, my name is Phawx. In this video, we're going to be going over Extreme Rate's latest custom shells for the Steam Deck. They do offer a bunch of different shells. This one is something that I've been waiting for a while, and I've been tweeting about this for almost a year now, but we do actually have a way to get Atomic Purple on the Steam Deck, and this is something that I really like. One benefit from Extreme Rate is that they actually provide all the accessory buttons for you, so you can do a complete conversion, where there are some other providers that have custom shells, but you still use the original buttons. I will be covering that later, and there are some key differences that both of these providers actually differ on, and we'll touch base on those. Right now, I'm just going to be covering Extreme Rate's particular version. All of the buttons on here actually feel really good. Even you can see the triggers back here and even the back buttons. So all of this just looks super nice. They give you all of the grills back here to kind of replace. So really super nice. Now, this isn't for the faint of heart. For the most part, almost everything is exceedingly easy to change. However, the really difficult part is this display. I was talking about on Nerd Nest, and it's almost recommended to actually buy a replacement screen so that you can put it on here just so you don't have the headache of trying to remove this screen. It is hellacious. It is hockey stick difficulty. Everything else that you're doing, you'll kind of just breeze right through. Zip insertion force, zero insertion force, ribbon cables, and all the other stuff, really easy to get along with. And all the screws are really easy to undo. It's just removing this display that is absolutely hard. We'll talk about that more as well, because the tools that they provide inside of the case, truthfully speaking, aren't that great. So these are the tools that you're going to get inside of your case. So you can see right here, you get two different types of screwdrivers and a plastic spudger, as well as some different screws here. They also provide a number of other screws. And then this, probably the worst of it all, this is the suction cup that Extreme Rate provides. So you can see that there's just this little suction cup and then a metal spudger to kind of get at the glue. They do provide a how-to video on Extreme Rate's YouTube channel, which is exceedingly helpful and will help you get through it. And that's actually one part of the video that I looked at on how to remove the display, because I've removed displays on tablets and phones and even iMacs before, and it's never been that difficult. The Steam Deck display is like cement glued in, so it really is next level. Either have a heat gun ready or a blow dryer or hair dryer, and preferably another person to help you, where there could be blow drying on the display itself and you can be using a suction cup. The suction cup that they provide isn't ideal. So that's probably the hardest part, and accessory-wise, like giving you the tools necessary to do the job, is one part where I would say that this kit is lacking. However, Extreme Rate is the only provider that I'm aware of right now that provides all the different buttons that you need. So this is right here is the whiteout kit. And one thing that I was actually thinking about was which one I was going to go with, but I ultimately decided on going Atomic Purple because that's one that I really wanted. Here you can see the buttons to completely white out your Steam Deck. So the nice thing about this is that the buttons that Extreme Rate has made are all actually really fantastic and in use, perfect to use. And for anyone that has an early Steam Deck, the Steam button and the QAM button, quick access menu button, both of these on earlier Steam Decks kind of felt spongy, and they were just a bit too tight, and the feedback wasn't that great. But now with these new buttons, they're actually great. It's an improvement for me. So that's something that I've been super happy with. The one thing that I do want to say that is going to be kind of up to you, I did opt to change the trackpads here, so you can take a look at that real quick. So you can see the plastic molding on the inside of that and the sticker, the adhesive that goes onto it, versus the caps that are on the original Steam Deck. So there you can see the original one. And this I actually really prefer. And the reason that I prefer this is because of the texture that they have on it. So that's going to be largely up to you. So there are different providers that don't change any of the buttons at all, and it would be a little bit of an easier process. But it could be up to you on if you, number one, want to change the buttons. Extreme Rate is going to be the only provider that I'm aware of right now that allows you to have buttons included to change everything over there. So that's something that I really like about Extreme Rate's kit. Overall, the process is pretty daunting only because of the display. So let's go over my particular case where I actually replaced everything. So I'm going to go over the video with you right now. All right, here I am taking apart everything, and I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward everything for you just so it's a lot more faster. We can get through this way quicker. For the most part, again, everything is super easy. The ribbon cables, all the screws, super easy to get to. Just make sure that you kind of put everything in the correct place and make sure whatever screws you're going to put are in a separate place. Extreme Rate does provide additional screws just in case you do miss any, so it's not that big of a deal, but it also helps when trying to put everything back together. The other thing that I want to note is that you really should have other thermal paste available to you when you're putting everything back together. Just kind of putting it back on, remating it with old thermal paste is not ideal. You should fully clean that surface. We'll get to that in a moment. You can see right there that I had a difficult problem with actually getting the display off, and I had to use another suction cup and a hairdryer to actually properly remove it. At this point, everything is pretty much gone from the SteamDeck itself. It's just a few other things that are kind of glued in, and then the haptic touchpads themselves, at which point you can make the decision yourself, where you want to go with things. Do you want to just keep the original trackpads? Do you want to change the buttons? And this is going to be something that is largely going to be your decision. I went with going through everything just because I wanted to do the whole 9 yards and show you the end result. But you can see how I put back the casing in here. The battery is all there. At this point, everything's going to start going back pretty simple. It's like really quick to go back in, putting in the speakers, putting in the Wi-Fi, connecting the antennas back to where they are. All that's super simple. Nothing is really a problem here once you get the display back on. So again, the only thing I want to caveat here is I really want to stress putting the display on, absolutely super hard. But once you get past that step, or if you just want to buy a replacement screen and get to that part, it makes the whole process a lot easier. What I'm going to be showing you next is that I'm going to be using thermal paste here, and I've already cleaned off the heatsink. So you can see I cleaned off the heatsink, and I use isopropyl alcohol. Well, I use a paper towel to wipe it off first. Then I use isopropyl alcohol to go ahead and then really clean it up so you get that mirror finish that you see there. Once you have that mirror finish on both sides, you really want to make sure that both sides are as dust-free as possible, and make sure you don't touch them, because any oils that are on your fingers or anything will also kind of just form this micro layer, which is not ideal to have on that chip. You really want it to be clean and dust-free and oil-free when you start applying new thermal paste. So that's just a little thing to, be mindful of. You can see I put a large pea-size amount there, just showing the camera, just so you can see the glob that I put on there. My temps are actually better now since I put this on, so this may just be a nicer process to do as well. If you're going to be doing it, you might as well go ahead and do it. And then everything's just kind of putting all the screws back in. You can only put in 2 screws. The third screw goes on when the case goes back on, so just be mindful of that when you're going through this process. At this point, you can see that I am electing to swap out the touchpads, so I'm going through the entire process of swapping those entire parts out. I'm putting the daughter boards back in and all the triggers, and now you can see that it's mostly completed. At which point, we're going to be at the end of it. I actually reused some of the screws that were available, and here is the finished product of it going back together. And here is the finished result. Overall, I'm super happy with it. The entire process and the fit and finish, all of the buttons that Extreme Rate provides to give you the full package, this is probably the winner for me. I still think that the tools that they provide are barely adequate. They are bottom tier, so I would advise having a better tool set, which you should already have anyway. For the suction cup, I would advise buying a better suction cup. And if you don't even want to bother removing the screen, you can just buy a $50 screen itself to have on there and just have the other one as a backup. That might be a better route to go, because then it'll make the entire process super painless, super quick, and something that'll be a lot more fun to do as a project. But then the prices are going to go from around $35 for just a cell to around $85, because then you're buying the screen from like iFixit. So you're looking at $85 or $90 with shipping. So just be mindful of that which way you want to go with it. I have seen people break their screens when they were removing it, so that is a problem that might occur. Take your time, take a look at Extreme Rate's YouTube video, because they did a fantastic job showing a very thorough step-by-step. I'm going to have a link in the description field below if you're looking to buy this. It's going to show you the Amazon links. I also want to do the whiteout version. Let me show you that here. So this is the full whiteout kit, and this just looks sick. So I'm going to probably put this on my second SteamDeck and just replace all the buttons and do even the touchpads, just have it all clear white and just have the black screen. I think that contrast is going to look really nice. So I'm looking forward to doing it again. I am probably just going to remove the screen again instead of buying a replacement screen. But overall, I really want to, the finished result is something that I really, really enjoy, even if the display part is a bit hard. Again, be mindful of how you want to go through with this project. It is going to take work on your end. It's not something that you're just going to get and it's going to be done. One of the other problems that you're going to have when you're taking a look at all the different custom shells is choosing which one you're going to want to go with. I love the Atomic Purple, but I have to admit going for the whiteout version is going to be pretty nice. So I'm looking forward to seeing both of them. And I mean, the process of doing it, I'm not going to look forward to doing that, but afterwards, I think I'm going to really enjoy it. That's it for this particular video. Again, links in the description field below if you're interested in getting it. That's it for me, guys. I hope this was informative. As always, guys, thank you for your time. Thanks for watching.